think it's cool. And then he smiles, and for a while I'm in love.
Hi, and welcome to River's Knitting Chronicles. I'm River, also known as River Cameron on Ravelry, and thanks for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your third time, welcome back, and so glad to see you again this week. I want to give a very special thank you to the young lady who so graciously agreed to supply us with our title song. Her name is Erin Lustria, and I'm going to provide a link to her YouTube channel. Check her out. She is an incredibly amazing, talented, hardworking musician, and subscribe to her and listen to her. She does some original music, some covers, and she's just wonderful. And so big thank you to her for letting us use her song as part of our show. And I'm really excited to have a title sequence now and all that kind of professional seeming stuff. I've been just playing around a lot and learning as I go, and it's been fun and challenging, but mostly fun. So yay. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about plans for this blog and for going forward. I'm really enjoying doing this. Right now I have 29 members in the Ravelry group, and I'm very excited about that. We're having a great time. If you're on Ravelry, or even if you're not, come join Ravelry, join us. It's River's Knitting Chronicles is the name of our group, and some of the 29 of the best people you'll ever meet on Ravelry are already there and ready to jump in and say hi and chit-chat and just hang out. And we're really enjoying ourselves over there, so you should come and join us. So that was one of my plans, and that's done. Maybe not next, but one of my other plans for this whole thing is I really wanted to start a tutorial series, for left-handed knitting. I mentioned last week how I got started and the trouble that I had. And yes, I know that there are some people who are left-handed who knit right-handed and have a wonderful, easy time of it and don't have a problem, or who knit continental because they're left-handed and that works for them. And that's wonderful. And I'm not taking anything away from that or saying that there's anything wrong with that if that works for them. It didn't work for me. And so I just wanted to kind of pass along the things that I've learned over the past few years knitting as a lefty. And I did find some videos out there. The ones that clicked for me were by Cyber Seams on YouTube. But they didn't have a lot of them. I had a few of the beginning things, but there are a number of things that I just had to kind of figure out on my own and kind of watch how they did it right-handed and kind of get it to work for me left-handed. And so I thought, maybe I can pass those things that I've learned on to other people, and so I'm going to be doing that. It's going to be more a part of the YouTube channel, I think, than on the blog. I'll probably just load those videos up on YouTube, but I will link them and have a separate page on the blog for the different tutorials. If you're interested, if you know someone who's left-handed and had a tough time or wants to learn and you're righty and they just can't see what you're doing and get it to work with their hands, let them know, and we'll see where that goes, and hopefully that'll work out for somebody. So those are kind of my upcoming plans with this blog. Again, I love to make plans. I love to plan for things that probably never happen. My friend Katie, Karen, she's Katie MC 1229. She's been getting shout-outs on a lot of podcasts lately, so I thought I'd join the club and shout out to her. We make plans. We make funny plans and private messages on Ravelry about, what our perfect local yarn shop would be and what we'd put in it and how we'd decorate it and how we, mine would have an attached coffee shop and maybe sandwiches and small pastries and things like that, and lots of huge comfy chairs. And the coffee shop would have cups with non-spill lids, so you didn't have to worry about the yarn, and you could get something to eat and drink and just sit together and knit and get up and grab whatever yarn you wanted. And well, of course you'd have to pay if you weren't me, but I wouldn't have to pay because it would be mine. And so hers would have tea because she's a tea person. So my question to you in the Ravelry group, and if you're not on Ravelry and don't want to join the group, you can comment here on the blog as well. What would your ideal you have 20 million gazillion dollars and someone says, hey, why don't you go start a yarn? What would be your ideal? If money were not an object, what would be your ideal local yarn shop? What would it look like? What would you put in it? How would you put it together? I'm just interested in other people's ideas. So, okay, so I'm going to move on, and I have something else to talk about with plans at the end, but I want to put that under an events category, so I want to talk about that last. Finished objects, I have one, and it is my first finished object that I actually started as part of this vlog, video podcast series. So I'm really excited about that. Please do not expect to get pairs of socks this quickly, because I'm just really not this fast, and I think I hurt myself, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. These are the Secret Fan, still backwards, Secret Fan by Adrienne Fong, known as Belly Button Knits on Ravelry. And see, I have two. They're completely done. Ends are even woven in and everything. Kitchenered the toes. So I'm going to show you some details on one. It has this fan pattern that goes all the way down the front onto the foot. If I were to do these again, I'd have pulled the fan pattern down a little bit more. I didn't think I had this much more room to go. The toe decreases are kind of a lot, and so that took more room than I had expected. So yeah, I'd have either started the toes earlier or done one more fan to get them further down the foot. I'm going to show you the back of the other one, because there is a separate pattern for the heel. Well, not the heel. You can put it wherever. I put the Secret Fan in beads. It has its own chart for the beads. I put mine so it comes right out from the heel, so my shoe will end right down under here, and then the beads will start. You can put it anywhere. You can put it on the foot. You can put it anywhere on the leg. You can do all of them with beads. It's completely up to you how you want to do them. This is an amazing pattern, If you're nervous about doing lacy socks, it's super easy to memorize. It just kind of goes. It's really easy to read your knitting with it. It's the instructions are incredibly well laid out. It does have it's got two different sizes and separate charts for each, as opposed to having one chart with different lines that say you do this section of it for a medium, you do this section for a large. Each one has their own chart, so it makes it less confusing if you're just starting out with charts. If you're absolutely terrified of charts, she also has row by row instructions at the end, so you could not use the charts, or if you're confused on the chart, go back and look at the row by row. It's really incredibly well laid out and incredibly well written, and they're gorgeous. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is Socks That Rock lightweight in the colorway Chilaxin, and I just adore them. So if you normally do vanilla socks and you want to try something a little bit more complicated, these are the socks for you. If you love doing lacy socks like I do, these are also the socks for you, because it's fairly easy to memorize, but it's not plain stockinette that goes round and round. Like, you do get to play more with your knitting with these, and I just love that. And then figuring out where you want your fan and getting to really customize them for you, I love that. So, Secret Fan, Adrienne Fong. Go knit these. They're amazing. Okay, so that's my finished object. I don't also have another finished, but I do have two things that are in the works that I'm going to show you. My sweater, since I finished those yesterday, my sweater got some love between yesterday and today. It has grown, I think you can tell, it has grown some. This is called the Vodka Lemonade by Thea Coleman, and I am doing it in Madeline Tosh colorway Tart, which is a DK, and I believe I'm on size 7 needles, because, again, tight knitter. I knit the collar is done, and I'm into where the shoulders are. So the shoulders are growing. It's growing a stitch each. It's growing like 4 stitches a time. The directions are. Sorry, I gotta adjust. The directions say you can. Where you're supposed to stop has 3 different numbers. So many inches, so many stitches on your needles, or so many increase rounds. And every other round is an increase round. Because I'm a tight knitter, those things are not gonna equal up. The number of stitches and the number of increase rounds should, but the number of inches long probably won't. So, but right under the shoulder seaming, she says to try it on, see if that's where you want it. Always go by fit, not by the numbers that she's provided. So I think I'll get to whichever of those 3 things I get to first, and then try it on and kind of see where I want to go. I went up a size because I wanted lots of negative ease. I'm expecting to wear this over shirts and things. So I might have some play there to be able to stop at the numbers, even if I'm not quite at the inches or there so-and-so. Yes, I've got 2 balls. The reason one is smaller than the other, in case you were wondering before, I did not alternate skeins in the collar because you can see both sides, so I didn't quite know where I would carry the yarn up. I started the altering when I got to the wrong side of the actual body of the sweater, so that they're alternating up, hidden inside, right by the, I guess what will be a non-button band, but right by the front collar, so, or front of the cardigan. So this will run out definitely before this, and I'm hoping that that will also, in my mind, I was thinking it might also help with making sure I don't get strange color pools, because if I switched both at the same time and they were both darker, I'd still end up with a dark patch, was what I was thinking. So it seemed smart to do it this way. I guess we will find out. I don't know yet. It's my, like I said before, it is my first sweater. And I'm loath to show you this because it has grown exactly 1 row. It is the Geyer cowl by Elizabeth Elliot, and this is where the whole hurting my hands thing comes into play. What I was doing last night after I finished the socks is, after I PM'd almost everyone I know and was so excited, I was doing front and back and forth on the sweater, and then I was trying to get a couple of rows on the cowl, and then back to the sweater and back and forth, so that I could have progress on both to show you guys, and because I missed both of them. But for some reason, knitting this, I started getting weird shooting pains in my thumb, and I don't know why it wasn't happening as bad with the sweater. Like it was just a little twinge. With this, it's not doing it anymore. See, I can move my thumb. But that was last night, and so I ended up putting it away. So it has grown exactly 1 row, and so you're not really going to be able to tell much, but maybe it looks a little tiny bit bigger. I'm knitting it on merino, or Malabrigo Silky Merino, which is the merino silk blend. It's a DK weight yarn. The colors are Smoke, the brown, and Ambrosio is the red and pink long color change variegations. And so, sorry I haven't done much with that, but I didn't want to do anything that would still hurt after I stopped knitting, so I stopped. And I'm feeling better. I might pick it back up probably like tomorrow, give it another rest. It's just switching the colors and moving my hand around a lot. I think that's what did it. I don't know. I have one new work in progress that is not, it is knitting related, but it is not knitting. And I had watched one of the early episodes of What You Swatchin', which is Emily, and she had gotten a portfolio little kind of 3-ring binder thing for fishing from Bass Pro Shops, and she had turned it into a needle case. And I loved the idea, but I didn't like the actual look of the case. It wasn't very cute, and I'm kind of all about things that are cute. So what I did was, and it's still a work in progress, I'm not done, but I bought this folder actually at Target, and they had some different ones. I'm not a huge yellow fan, but I just loved the Love Aspire Grow on the front, and so then inside it was green, and I got, this is actually a clear pencil case that fits in a 3-ring binder, and that inside are my Chaigus that I knit my socks with. And what's behind it is actually, I used to scrapbook. I think I mentioned that on a different episode. And so I just cut a piece of scrapbook paper to size and put it for the background. And they only had one clear in the whole of Target. And they had blacks and dark blues that I didn't think would work, but they had some of these pinks. So I need to decide exactly how I'm going to organize this. I'm probably going to have to keep hitting Target looking for more clear ones, but I'll eventually make labels of some sort. I have lots of scrapbook stuff left over that I can decorate the inside of the pockets with to label exactly what goes in the pocket. I'm hoping that they'll hold up. My son had a pencil case like this, and he said the issue was his zipper broke, but he was an 8-year-old at the time using it, not a grown-up. So, and I love the little saying on this side. So let me see if I can get it to where you can read it. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. And I just thought that was sweet and cute and a good thing to keep my needles and notions and all sorts of things in. So as I work on this, I'll let you guys see how it progresses and becomes hopefully a really cool needle case. Okay. Future knits, things that are coming up. In case you didn't notice, I don't have a new Tour de Sock on the needles. Sorry, it's really hot here. I'll tell you that story in a second. I just finished the first pattern yesterday, and the new pattern came out on Monday. It's now Friday, and this pattern is supposed to end on Wednesday, and there's no way. There is absolutely no way I'll finish. And so I decided I was going to take a break from the little yarn and the little needles and spend some time with my sweater and my cowl and get those where I need them or I want them to be. And I'm going to hold off, though, and the next pattern comes out on the 19th, and my plan is to start that one. So hopefully my hands will feel better, I won't be so tired, I won't be sock burned out, and I'll be ready to go. So that pattern is going to be a 3-color pattern, and they asked for 50 grams of 2 different colors and then 15 grams of a third. And when those instructions first came out, my plan was to order some, I had 2 shades of Malabrigo I really wanted to use together, and I was going to order some black from Loopy U, had some black Malabrigo sock. And I've kind of been rethinking that. I don't know that I want to buy a whole other skein of sock yarn for 15 grams. So this is my plan, and if when the pattern comes out it looks like it's not going to work, I'll order the black and just know that, again, I won't finish in time. But these are, they're both Malabrigo, and this is Orchard, yeah. And this is Tiziano Red. I'm probably butchering both names. So I've wanted to do a pair of socks out of the pair of these for a really long time. So what I'm going to do is, these are my main colors, and then the Miss Babs that I didn't use for the second sock, for Tour de Sock, sorry, I don't spin, is going to be my 15 grams color, and I think that'll, especially if the 15 grams I can figure a way to have it work specifically with the red, I think that'll be pretty. And if it doesn't look like it's going to work, I'll order the black. And I'd rather have pretty socks than finish on time and have socks I won't wear, or won't like, or will want to redo. So that's what's coming up for me. The other thing that's coming up, I promised my son I own this book. I think most everybody does. It's The Big Book of Knitted Monsters by Rebecca Danger, and I think they're adorable. Again, with the tight knitting, purposely trying to knit a tight gauge when a tight knitting tighter than I normally do is painful for my hands. And I need to realize I'm a tight knitter and don't need to make such an effort to make it tight if that's what I do. But I can't do these monsters out of acrylic. It just absolutely kills me. So I have decided, my son I tried making a monster before and I just couldn't do it. But he grabbed the book yesterday and said, well, can I pick out a different one? And he would like, this is Charlie, the ceiling fan monster. And so he has requested that I make him Charlie, the ceiling fan monster. I have a lot of Malabrigos and Silky Merino and DK, and I love knitting with it, and I think even trying to knit it tight would not be painful for me. And so I have a number of options. I have some blues, I have some... Oh, sorry for looking away again. I have this really cool rainbow color that I think would be awesome as a monster. So I think as soon as I get maybe once I get the cowl off the needles, I'm going to get started on Charlie, the ceiling fan monster for my son. And so that's what I've got coming up. There's something else that's coming up that you could potentially be a part of, and I'm really excited about it. On November 9th, Tallahassee, this is where I was going to come back around to the Big Plains. Tallahassee is going to have a fiber festival, and I'm very excited because I have never been to one. I told you we have 4 local yarn shops here in Tallahassee, and one of them is called Really Knit Stuff. And the owner, Paula of Really Knit Stuff, is putting together a local fiber festival. It's going to be all day on November 9th, and that's a Saturday. There's going to be spinning, dyeing, all sorts of things fibery related. There's not a lot of, I don't know 20 tons of things because it's still pretty far out, but I am going to put on the show notes a link to the Facebook event and a link to, I guess I'll link to the shop's Ravelry group so that anyone could go on there and kind of ask her some questions. If you are someone who would like to do a demonstration, if you'd like to do a workshop, if you'd like to do anything, be a vendor for the event, sell some yarn or some fiber, talk to Paula. Her last name I'll link it in the group so you can get a hold of her. She had given me her shop number, but I'm just not super comfortable just hanging up phone numbers on. I don't know why. That just seems weird. But if you would like it, you can send me an email, riversknittingchronicles@gmail.com, and I'll email you her phone number if you'd like to just call her. But you can PM her. She's really quick with the answers on the PM on Ravelry, and she'd love to talk to you about getting you a spot and a time for what you would like to do. So here's what's kind of cool. At first I thought, oh no, there's a lot going on the weekend of the 9th because Tallahassee is having its first steampunk festival also on that weekend. But listen to this. The steampunk festival is, I don't even think a mile from where the fiber festival is going to be. They're incredible. If your steampunk shoes were comfortable, you could walk. It's literally right down the road. And so I thought, well, that would be kind of cool. Like, people could do both. And I think the steampunk is more than one day. The fiber festival is just one day. Where it's kind of an ooh for me is that my show opens that Thursday, so that Saturday is our closing night of my show. But, so y'all could come to Tallahassee and go to the fiber festival, and then that night come and see my play, and then stay overnight, and the next day go to the steampunk festival, and then go home. Isn't that an awesome weekend? And it's November, and if you are from far away, it is still warm here in November. So if you're from someplace where it's cold and you're already sick of it by November, Tallahassee and a fiber festival and a steampunk festival and a play, would be you don't have to come to my play really, but Steampunk Festival and a Fiber Festival both at the same time, that's totally awesome. And you guys should really come to Tallahassee because it'll be the place to be for that weekend. So I will put all the information that I have on the blog, and I will keep updating as we get closer and more information comes out as to what's going to happen with that. So that is it from me for episode 3. Thank you again for watching and listening and seeing all my stuff. Please join the Ravelry group. Again, we have a great time. I'm really enjoying it. Chime in with some of the things that if you could run your own local yarn store and have it be however you wanted it, how would you have it? I'd love to hear and read and dream with you. Check out Erin Lustria's YouTube channel. She's amazing. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, bye.
I have a crush on a boy named Samson. He doesn't know who I am, and he's got thick brown hair, blue eyes that stare into your soul.